Hello everyone, I'm Simon, and chances are if you're watching this video that you are thinking of buying a house, which is a good thing, but there are a couple steps that you need to take first before you put your money in bricks. The first thing that you actually have to do is go to a bank, and I know this doesn't sound that exciting and you're going to have to probably make it even less exciting by going to more than one bank, just because you need to have a general idea of how much you are actually able to loan. Also, why do you go to multiple banks? Well, this is really easy because banks often have their own set of rules to lend or loan you money. This also means that why, for example, you may get a really advantageous loan in one bank and the other bank might even decline you altogether. My girlfriend and I were flat out declined by one bank, and in the end we got one loan for 1.56% fixed rate and refinanced another for about the same. So just to give a general idea. This is also an interesting story, but for another time. Also note that you do need about 10 to 20% of the purchase price of the home just for all the necessary expenses and to maybe get a better rate as well. So you need a large amount of savings. Because it's going to take way too long to dive into all the costs of purchasing and owning a home, I'm going to leave that for another video as well. When you know from the bank how much you can actually loan, it is then up to you to decide for yourself whether or not this is the absolute maximum you want to loan and pay off every single month. This also depends on your own budget and your own preferences. If, for example, you are not comfortable loaning that amount of money, then by all means look for a cheaper home and a cheaper mortgage as well. But that is entirely up to you. Just use this number as a guideline to know you won't go over that budget when bidding for a home, since you probably aren't going to be able to afford it. The next thing to do is actually just look for houses that you want to visit. In every country there are usually just a couple real major real estate websites that post adverts of real estate that you can actually visit. However, one interesting thing to note is that the adverts on these websites have to be paid for. So people need to pay money to put up an advert to sell their house. So naturally, that also means that not all houses will be posted on these websites. So the most or the best deals that you can possibly do aren't probably going to be posted on these websites. It's interesting to note that these websites are really popular and a lot of people use them for looking for a home this way. This means that you have more competition when buying a house, and because of this, chances of you getting a property below asking price are also smaller than when a building or a house isn't on one of these platforms. However, they are a good starting point for your journey towards a new home. Next, when driving around in your town or area where you want to buy, write down every single real estate agency or the name of every real estate agency that you can find. Nearly always, these real estate agencies will post new real estate that they have in their portfolio on their own website first. So what can you do then is just subscribe to their information email or to all these information emails from these different real estate companies, just so you can be one of the first to actually be able to visit a new house and have a higher chance of actually having it or potential chance of buying it. And why is this? Well, it's the same reason as I said before. They need to pay to put up these adverts on a real estate platform. So if they know the building or home will sell anyway without them posting and losing money on these websites, then it's obviously better to just keep it in their own portfolio on their own website and let one of their own clients buy it. This is also why it's really interesting to do this, and you will probably get better deals this way. This is also what my girlfriend and I did, and we found our house that way. Then you also have the private sellers. These are just the people that put up a signpost in front of their house with a number on it that you can call. Usually I don't get my hopes up for these, but there might be a good deal in there somewhere, so it might be worth to check out. Which houses are the most interesting? Well, it depends entirely on you and whether or not you want to renovate, and of course on your budget. Freshly renovated or new houses will obviously cost a lot more than an older house that you renovate yourself with a new kitchen or bathroom or whatever. Also, from my personal experience, is that houses like this with a black tile, modern design kitchen and bathroom, you know what I'm talking about, is something that a lot of people want. I think it looks good too, but since a lot of people do, demand for these types of properties are obviously quite high. And the chances of you paying a decent price without overpaying for it are relatively small. Your best bet is to look for structurally sound houses where there is still a modest amount of work that needs to be done if you want to get the most out of your money. Next, we have the fun part. In my experience, your experience may vary, but that is to go look at houses. Go look at every house that interests you even slightly, even if you have no intention of buying it whatsoever. After doing this for a while, you will notice that you will have a better idea of the value of a house each time you step through the door, and you will be able to make more informed decisions as well. Buying a house is quite an emotional experience, and by visiting a lot of houses, you are able to know better what to look for and taking some of the emotion out of the equation and making it a more rational decision. Look for major costs that may need to be done in the near future. If a boiler or a central heating system or a roof needs replacing, those are really big expenses that you don't want to do the first time you move into a new home. So you need to factor these in to your bidding price. The same goes for when there are structural problems or obvious signs of water leakage like molds. This doesn't necessarily mean that it is going to be a bad purchase, but it does mean that you don't need to overpay for the property either, since you need to factor in the costs or the repair of these costs before buying the house. Be very, very wary of real estate agents trying to push you into making an offer. They will usually resort to tricks like, I already have some candidates lined up that want to visit the house or are interested or even have placed a bid already. Don't feel pressured in these situations to bid immediately. If you feel nervous or are doubting whether or not you should put out an offer and they are pressuring you to do so, just walk away. An hour isn't going to make the difference, and when you are out of the door, just think about it for a moment whether or not you actually want to purchase the property, and if you do, then just call up the real estate agent and make an offer that way. It's an hour really won't make the difference, and for you it will give more time to digest all the information. Do not make an offer verbally unless you are 100% sure you want the property and have the means to do so as well. Even a verbal offer can be legally binding, and if you crawl back on your offer, then the real estate agency can hold you accountable and charge you a fee of upwards to 10% of the purchase price of the property. So it is a cost that you really, really want to avoid. This is also why preferably you put out an offer written on paper with a to and from date, and also with possible clauses in which the contract or the offer isn't valid. For example, say I wish to purchase a property, I would send out an email to the one selling the property stating I want to buy this property for this amount of money, and the offer is valid from now until Friday. And only in the off chance, or in the chance rather, that I can get a loan from my bank. That way you are also legally covered in the really, really small chance that you can't get a loan, or something drastically changes in between that time where you asked your bank first whether or not you could get a loan and the time you actually need it. When you make an offer and some other buyer offers a higher amount, don't feel pressured to offer even more money. Just stick to your own budget and within your own means. Next, you need to play out the banks against each other, and this is a rather complex topic, so I will keep it brief in this video and go more in depth in my next one. So subscribe for that. I hope you liked the video and thought it was interesting. I could have used this information when I was looking for a house, so leave a like if you liked it and a comment down below, and then I hope to see you next time. Bye.